Hello, I hope you are well. I welcome you. To know about animals, stay with us until the end of the video. If you want, click the subscribe button. Let's go to the video. Amphibians are any members of the group of vertebrate animals that are characterized by the ability to live both in water and on land during their lifetime. Of course, some species of amphibians are permanent inhabitants of land, while other species have a completely aquatic life. What animals are amphibians? Approximately 8,100 species of living amphibians are known. Their first appearance was about 340 to 370 million years ago during the Middle Mississippian period. And they were one of the first groups to diverge from the fully aquatic forms of tetrapod fishes during evolution and become dioecious species. Today, amphibians include the orders of frogs, herdsmen, and nudibranchs. It is thought that these three orders are derived from ancient amphibians, and although they have significant differences in terms of body shape, they are probably the closest relatives to each other and form the suborder of soft amphibians, Lissamphibia. They give Albanerpodontidae were a family of amphibians with an appearance similar to salamanders, which became extinct about 2.5 million years ago. None of the extinct groups of amphibians originated from the ancestors of the tetrapods group that gave rise to the evolution of reptiles. Although some aspects of the biology and anatomy of different groups of amphibians may show features found in the ancestors of reptiles, amphibians are not an intermediate step in the evolution of reptiles from fish. Modern amphibians have several unique features. Moist skin. They rely heavily on dermal, skin surface, respiration. Two-channel hearing system. Green cylindrical cells in the retina for color recognition. Primary teeth, 2 parts. Some of these traits may also exist in extinct groups. What are the characteristics of amphibians? The common features of the three main orders of amphibians include eggs without shells, skin permeable to gases, adults being carnivorous, mating rituals. Relatively even distribution. Living amphibians produce very different eggs than strictly terrestrial organisms such as reptiles. Amphibian eggs do not have a calcified shell and consist mostly of jelly, so they are not resistant to dry weather. Most frogs and salamanders lay eggs directly in water. But some species have suitable methods for laying eggs on land, for example, some terrestrial salamanders in places moist under rocks and logs. And some frogs living in rainforests lay eggs on plant leaves. When the young frogs emerge, they jump directly into the water. Amphibians that lay eggs on land undergo metamorphosis inside the egg and then emerge as miniature adults. Corysmanders have fish-like scales, while the skin of most amphibians is moist and permeable to gases. In order to colonize dry habitats, a type of frog called the wax monkey frog, Philomedusa sauvagile, has developed a protective mechanism. This frog secretes a lipid from the glands in the skin, which the frog spreads over the body with its legs. The lipid helps reduce water loss and actually forms a cocoon around the animal. Some frogs and larval salamanders are filter feeders. But all adult amphibians are carnivorous and feed on small invertebrates or vertebrates. Amphibians are found in most parts of the world, but their global distribution shows great variation between different regions. Most amphibian ecosystems share several common characteristics, including high humidity, high rainfall, and warm weather. Frogs are known for their nocturnal calls. Males usually visit potential breeding areas and sing to attract females. Salamanders do not vocalize, but many species perform ritual mating behaviors. Some terrestrial species have complex dances, but the most developed mating rituals are found in aquatic species. Where do amphibians live? Amphibians are widely distributed throughout the world. Even in the Arctic, and only in Antarctica, the most distant oceanic islands and very dry deserts. Frogs and toads show the greatest diversity in humid tropical environments. Salamanders live primarily in the northern hemisphere and are mostly found in cool, humid, mountainous forests. Members of the Plethodontidae family live in tropical humid mountain forests of Mexico, Central America, and northwestern South America. Blind salamanders are found sporadically in humid tropical regions of Africa, America and Asia. For years, destruction played an essential role in the dispersion and expansion of amphibians. Since the 1980s, a sharp decline in the population of many frog species has been observed. Although acid rain, global warming, and ozone depletion are some of the effective factors in this decline, the full explanation of their disappearance in different environments is still unclear. However, it seems that a type of parasitic fungus, the so-called amphibian cauldron fungus, Batrachochytrium dendrobatidis, is one of the main reasons for the major death of the frog in areas of Australia and southern Central America and the existence of a small population in North America and Europe. Zoology Tutorial 1. You can get detailed information about the definitions and terms of zoology, levels of classification of animals, genus, species, etc. After that, different categories of animals have been investigated from low evolutionary levels, i.e. primitives, to mammals and humans. In this, amphibians have been investigated in comparison with other animals. What is the connection between the ozone layer and amphibians? Frogs are an indicator species whose global population decline is a warning about the state of the environment. Permeable skin and dual life in water and land make amphibians more vulnerable to environmental degradation. Disease, acidification of rain, pollution and increase of ultraviolet rays due to thinning of the ozone layer are factors affecting the life of these animals. The increase in UVB rays caused by the thinning of the ozone layer destroys frogs and their eggs, especially the species that live in high altitudes. On the other hand, UV radiation changes the DNA structure of frogs and causes genetic mutation. Frogs have the ability to produce a limited amount of the enzyme photolyase to repair DNA damage, so they are more at risk. If UV radiation is the reason for the decline in amphibian populations, those frogs whose eggs are exposed to more sunlight have higher amounts of the protective enzyme photolyase than frogs in protected areas. How many groups of amphibians are there? The members of the three existing orders are structurally significantly different. Frogs and toads have tailless and somewhat rounded bodies and long and powerful hind limbs for leaping movements. In contrast, blind salamanders are worm-like and highly adaptable. Salamanders and salamanders have tails and two pairs of limbs of almost the same size. However, they are somewhat smaller in body shape than the other two orders. Many amphibians lay their eggs in water, and their developing larvae are essentially free-living embryos. They have to find their food and escape from the predatory animals. With the completion of embryonic development, the adult body plan emerges in the tadpole, allowing them to leave the water for life on land. Although this metamorphosis from aquatic to terrestrial life occurs in members of all three amphibian groups, some species are viviparous. In fact, the approximately 8,100 living species of amphibians are more evolved than other vertebrates at reproduction. Some species have aquatic eggs and larvae, while in others the eggs are embedded in the skin of the female's back and hatch into larvae or miniature tadpoles. In other groups, the young develop within the oviduct or the embryos obtain their food from the wall of the tube. In some species, the eggs are developed in the stomach of the female amphibian. The three living orders of amphibians vary greatly in size and structure. The presence of a long tail and two pairs of nearly equal-sized limbs distinguish salamanders and salamanders, order Amphibia, from other amphibians, although members of the eel family. such as the Serenity and the aquatic ones, do not have hind limbs. Salamanders and salamanders vary greatly in length. Members of the Mexican Thoreus genus are 25 to 30 mm long, while the aquatic salamanders native to China and Japan are over 1.5 meters long. Frogs and toads, order frogs, are easily distinguished by their long hind limbs and lack of tails. They only have 5 to 9 anal vertebrae. The West African Juliet frog, which can reach 30 centimeters from snout to tail and weigh up to 3.3 kilograms, is the largest frog. One of the smallest frogs is the brachycephalids of South America, which only reaches about 8.9 mm in length, and some microhides, which grow to 9 to 12 mm as adults. The physical development, i.e., the presence of ring grooves and a short and smooth segmented tail, are adapted to a fossorial, pit, lifestyle. A blind salamander can be more than 1 meter long. The length of the largest species of blind salamander reaches 1.5 meters, and the smallest species is only 90 to 114 millimeters long. Thank you for staying with us until the end of the video. Please like and subscribe to be informed about our latest videos. Have a good time.